Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, an eternal grudge over the simplest of errors. The devil is in the local area network details. Lady doesn't trust me to remote into the computer I built and assigned to get. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. An eternal grudge over the simplest of errors. $DC equals me. Phyllis, the lady who trains people on the circuit board in question. $Cam equals another coworker, basically an extra. In this story, I used to work at a place that made circuit boards and modules for industrial automation and monitoring. I tested newly made boards and troubleshot any failures. I would do simple through-hole resolders and send surface mount jobs to the surgeons who could deal with the surface mount resoldering or part replacements. I was testing a board which had analog and digital I/O, which had its own microcontroller chip. We tested that board with a test fixture that was connected to the desktop computer. Essentially, the test fixture provided all the necessary voltages and simulated inputs on command from the computer's test software. At this point, I had been working with the set for about a week. The test software throws an error that says could not communicate with the board being tested, so I looked closely at the board itself for visible defects in specific areas that would prevent the board from powering up or communicating. Not finding anything, I try again. Same error. So I set this one aside and try another board to see if the issue was with our setup or the actual board itself. Same error. Okay, definitely a test fixture or computer issue. Of course, I looked to the coworker, Phyllis, who showed me how to do these boards, but she is busy discussing something with another person. So, I go ahead and try the first thing we have all learned to do first when troubleshooting any application: close and reopen the application itself. Upon reopening, it apparently doesn't remember which file it had opened, but that's not a big deal. I look in the most obvious places, including the network disk we have our test instructions in, along with files that are necessary for testing or programming a given board. Looking up the part number for the board, or its actual name in words, does yield a folder and test instructions, but no test file/program, and the test instructions for the technician don't mention where the file should be. So, I go over to Phyllis and her coworker to ask her to come help when she has a minute, and she immediately asks what I need, and I ask where the test program file is, because I had to reset the software and it didn't reopen the file. She was rather snappy when she asked why I didn't just go and get her rather than messing with the computer. I said, because you were talking to someone. Then she's like, it doesn't matter, just let me know if you have a problem. There's no point messing with it when I'm around. Instead of arguing with Phyllis, I take out my notebook with the intent to write down the location of the file so I can find it again. What I failed to look for is a recent files list, but that wasn't in a menu with a name that was obvious to someone not familiar with that software. Naturally, that's what Phyllis used to reopen the test program. However, she did it too fast for most people to follow what she was doing. I did see where it was, but just in case the recent files thing didn't work due to some glitch, or the program got updated by engineering to a newer version, I asked where the actual file would be, with my notebook in hand, so she knew that it was for future reference if the problem needed fixing again in the future. Of course, Phyllis just said to just come back and ask her for help if the software has any trouble again. Not wanting to make a big deal about it and turn it into an argument, I just let it go. About 5 months later, Phyllis is training Cam on the same circuit board. When she gets to the point of discussing the actual test software, she brings up the time that DC tried to fix a failure to communicate by restarting the test program itself. Although it's not evident from the story, it literally took less than a minute for Phyllis to reopen the file, and it took basically no additional effort beyond that. And yet, somehow she was still pissed at me about it, 5 months later. This post wouldn't have even been worth writing if it wasn't for that. The devil is in the local area network details. Hello, long-time lurker, first-time poster. Starring Me, LC local contact. Background. I work partially as a consultant in enterprise networking. Had a customer send in a support ticket as he'd spent some time troubleshooting because a pad and a VoIP system weren't connecting to the network. The LC had managed to troubleshoot the pad to some configurations on the switch and had solved this, but was unable throughout the couple of hours he had been working on this issue to get the VoIP to work. Story time. I get to LC's location before the morning coffee has graced my lips, so the first half of our meeting is spent mostly deflecting from showing how unconscious I am by asking habitual troubleshooting questions. Other devices in the same room work, configuration is correct, the pad is functioning, but no matter what, the VoIP device just won't power on. Oh, it needs PO-BTW. Huh. By the time I get to see the switch everything is connected to, I'm barely capable of recognizing what the thing is, let alone how to connect to it. I eventually get there after staring at the console port in the back for some 30 seconds and find no issues on the switch itself, no limitations, no capacity, 2 ports of 24 in use, issues, just nothing. Step 2 is to get to the room where the VoIP device is located. I flip the device to see where the Ethernet cable is connected. The device has 2 Ethernet ports. Ha2. I can see the tiny label on the empty Ethernet port, the other one is being obscured by the cable LAN IN. HA_V.3.0. Several questions as to what has been troubleshot on the device itself followed. Well, no troubleshooting was done exactly on it, cause the cable is stuck, and there are no other LAN ports available on the wall. Aha. Cue some 5 minutes of trying to jiggle, wiggle, and coax the RJ45 out. No go? Rip it Beyblade style, not recommended. That works, the cable comes out sans damage to itself or the device. The newly empty port where the cable was stuck is labeled LAN out. Aha 2. Plug cable into LAN IN port. Device comes online. Check to see if it calls, if the mic works, if the traffic goes out the building. AHA_V.3.0. Guy seemed fairly sheepish at what had happened. I comforted him that even the most hardened professionals make these types of mistakes sometimes. Cool dude all in all. Support ticket closed, task resolved, problem caused by Ethernet port issues. Lady doesn't trust me to remote into the computer I built and assigned to get. Quick backstory here. I work in the physical therapy industry and am part of a team supporting around 1,300 individual clinics. Each clinic we support is part of our company, we aren't third party in any way. We either own these clinics or are in a partnership of some kind. We buy laptops and desktops and configure them before shipping them out to new users and clinics. Part of our configuration is installing LogMeIn and another remote access software. So I'm working here for about 6 months and I get a call from a receptionist lady that I'll refer to as RL. The conversation goes as such. Me, company name, help desk, this is me. RL, hello? My computer isn't working. Me, I see, is the computer turning on? What is the issue with it? RL, it turns in but I don't know what's wrong, can you fix it? Me, no problem, I should be able to help. Let me take a look, what's the identification number, so I can start a remote session? RL, it is most certainly a problem. I don't know who you are, and I can't just let you into my computer. Me, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to troubleshoot what the problem may be, and I can't get a good idea of that over the phone. RL, well, you can't connect to my computer, I don't trust you. I need to speak with my manager about this. At this point I'm a little frustrated but trying to stay professional and not blurt at lady, this is our computer, I can connect anytime I please. She puts me on hold for about 15 minutes while she speaks to the clinic director, I'll reference them as CD. CD picks up the phone. CD, hello? This is their name. Me, hello, my apologies for any confusion. I was helping RL with an issue she was having in her computer, and she was worried about me connecting to her computer. CD, you need to fix it, right? Go ahead and remote into it, I'll talk to RL about it. Turns out that CD was shocked at his receptionist's attitude towards me and ended up apologizing for it. I fix the issue and go about my day, and a couple days later I see a termination notice come in for RL, my boss, and I had a good laugh about it. For context, I've worked at this place for over 2 years now, and I can count on one hand how many people have been rude or hostile towards me.